one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The notice of accordance to the New Jersey Closed Meetings will have been satisfied by the news release of the Asbury Park Press on December 12, 2013, stating that a regular meeting of the Colfax Township Committee would be held on May 28, 2014, 7:30 p.m. at Town Hall. Notice of accordance has been posted on the Township Bulletin Board. A copy is on file in the office of the Township Clerk. Roll call, please. Deputy Mayor Schatzel. Here. Deputy Mayor Engel. Here. Deputy Mayor Orgo. Here. Deputy Mayor Fitzgerald. Here. Mayor McNabb.
Okay, number one this evening is the approval of the meeting minutes from both April 30th, 2014 and May 14th. I think we'll do them in turn. April 30th, any comments from anybody? Motion to approve? Second. Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Schatzel.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Engel. Yes. Deputy Mayor Orgo.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Fitzgerald. Yes. Mayor McNabb.
Yes, and the May 14th meeting minutes, any comments on those? Motion to second. Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Schatzel.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Engel.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Orgo.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mayor McNabb.
Yes. Number two this evening is ordinance 2014-14. This is an ordinance of the Township of Cold Snake in the County of Monmouth and the State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 102 Development Regulations, Article 4, Section 102-8, entitled Zoning Board of Adjustment. It is a second reading by title. This is the Zoning Board amendment that limits to 3 one-year extensions for applications for variances. And I'll take any comments from the committee on this particular ordinance. Seeing none, I'll open a public hearing. Any comments from the public on this particular ordinance? Seeing no comments from the public, I'll close the public hearing. Take a motion to approve this ordinance.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Schatzel.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Engel. Yes. Deputy Mayor Orgo.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mayor McNabb.
Yes. Resolution 2014-67. This is a resolution authorizing the award of the bid for road improvements Phase 2 in the amount of $684,917.95. This is Part 2 of road resurfacing and associated curb work on a number of roads. We did Phase 1 in the fall. This is the second group of roads that's going to be done. Most of the roads.
I do. Phase 2 will consist of Gateway, Birch, Cherry, Dogwood, a part of the boundary from Clover Hill Road to 520, Colts Gate and Pacer Lane, and also some drainage on Willow Lake.
This money was appropriated last year.
Yes.
So this is just authorizing the awarding of the bid for that particular work. Any comments from the committee on this resolution?
I thought we had a problem with that road last time.
One minor issue on Green Hill.
Well, I thought it was a pretty big issue. Did they redo it all or what?
Well, we got it resolved to our benefit by having Nico do another job for us. That probably wasn't $1,000.
So is the road smooth or is the road bumpy?
It's acceptable as it
Why are you not biting your tongue?
Well, it's not the job that I would expect any contractor to do. They came up, we did our engineers did some testing. That all came out okay. I think it was just, it's half through. They're going to work with us to see as the weather gets warmer and they think it's going to go down as time goes through. And then they did another job for us.
I hope you can check with Chris, but I'm not sure that in itself would be the basis for not awarding it.
Because they didn't perform good the last time?
If you want to take half a road of all the roads they did, it's not good. You go down that road.
I just asked the question, that's all. I mean, you know.
You don't want litigation.
They were pretty close between first and second.
And I saw that as well. But one of the things I was thinking is, because of the conversations we've had over the past several months, I think they'll really do well, and Glenn's going to keep an extra eye out on it.
And one additional thing there, the engineer's estimate for this work was $746,000, so it's considerably under the engineer's estimate, so that's good as well.
They'd be fearful of money on the back end to do some more work.
One list of additional jobs and like that. Yes.
Okay. I'll take a motion on that resolution, please.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Schatzel?
Yes.
Superman Engel?
Yes.
Superman Orgo?
Yes.
Superman Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Mayor McNabb?
The consent agenda this evening is Resolution 2014-68, a resolution authorizing the acceptance of special performance guarantee housing demolition, Block 53.01, Lot 5, that's 99 Oldbury Road, and Resolution 2014-69, a resolution authorizing a veterans disallowance.
Just one person.
Yeah, for that one individual, right? Okay. Just one individual for $500. Okay. Take any comments from the committee on that one? Those two resolutions are right.
Motion to approve?
Second, please.
Second.
Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Schatzel?
Yes.
Superman Engel?
Yes.
Superman Orgo?
Yes.
Superman Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Mayor McNabb?
Administrative report, Bob.
Just one thing, approval for alcohol at the Cul-de-sac Fair that's done by the fire department as a fundraiser. Fair is July 10 through 13. As with any group, they do need permission from the township committee to ensure the fire department will give permission to ourselves. So that's,
That they will police that are literally
yeah,
their service.
correct.
Who covers the insurance on that?
Well, we insure the fire department, and the fair is well aware of it.
Is there a special rider on for that?
If there's alcohol involved, we could get special protection since it doesn't come with additional costs. It's part of the RG. I don't see any issues.
What's going
I guess so. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? So carried. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Motion to approve vouchers. Can you have them see read?
I did $791,989.75. I compared all the bills to the invoices and found them all to be in order.
Any comments from the committee?
Jim, thank you for stepping in my absence. I appreciate it.
No problem.
When is the fire truck going to be delivered?
It didn't have a delivery date, I just looked at the numbers.
I'm not sure the delivery date. I can tell you the firemen are going out first week of June next week.
So we're paying for the whole truck now?
They, part of the contract was they were bringing the check with them. Yes.
Any other comments on the vouchers for this week?
Motion.
Second. Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Schatzel?
Except to abstain from T&M.
So noted. Superman Engel?
Yes.
Superman Orgo?
Yes.
Superman Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Mayor McNabb?
Yes. Committee reports. Anything this evening?
June 16th is our next wildlife meeting at 7 p.m. Be here. It's been put on the internet. It's been put on the patch, right? That overall pulse neck patch. We've gotten as many papers as we can get it in time. Hopefully somebody will show up besides the opposition. And we're moving forward. Yeah, the only other thing is we had a long-range meeting last week and we've been working on different things. Mike?
Just a reminder to the community that their circus is coming to town. 2 weeks. I think it's coming Sunday, June 6th or 7th, whatever that Sunday is.
It's a Sunday, I think it's the
7th.
And then it's the 8th.
Sunday
Through the 9th and the 10th.
Sunday
1:30
through
to
Wednesday.
7:30, and then Sundays from 2 to 5. That'll be at Bucksmill Park. And then also I mentioned at a previous meeting that Operation Provide Comfort, and for those of you who may recall, that was the initiative started back to support following Hurricane Sandy Union Beach. And the folks, and we have some guests here tonight who have been very instrumental in putting this together. I put together a concert called One Town, One Voice. It'll be at Brookdale Community College in the large arena. They have some sponsorships available and all different prices for different seating. It's going to be Saturday, August 23rd. The doors will open at 6:30, and our own Jackie Lee will be singing at the concert. I'm excited to be raising some money for Union Beach.
Contact information for available? People want to buy tickets?
Through the Brookdale box office.
Yes, Brookdale Box.
If I may speak now?
Yes.
The tickets will be on sale through a ticket agency. However, like Mike, you ordered tickets. We're going to see if we can set those tickets aside in your name prior to opening the box office. So I believe it's going to be e-tickets. We're working on it now. What we had to do is figure out the dignitary free seats that we had to pull out of the, the entire summer seats to be sold. After that's done, we should be good to go by next week.
Good.
Anything else, Chair?
Yeah, that's it.
Nothing tonight.
For me, thanks to everybody who attended our Memorial Day celebration. We had terrific weather, nice turnout, good participation by the community, nice service, in memory of people that deserve to be remembered. So again, thanks for those of you that came out for that. At Cole meeting last night, we're working on recommitting funds that we have to legally commit to an affordable housing project. And we are working on something specific with a group called, I'm blank on the name, Veris. I believe it's VERAS, and I'll check on the spelling if anybody knows it. And they're one of the organizations that develop homes for developmentally disabled, and they're looking in Colts Neck as well. And we're hopefully going to be able to commit funds to allow them to come in to purchase a property in Colts Neck and use it for developmentally disabled folks. And we'll keep you updated on that as well. And that's it for me. Any comments from the public this evening?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Elaine Mann, I have gifts for all of you tonight, and I would like to present them to you. Okay? Commissioner's chair. Which one is it? And this is in light of how we had to go to extremes. Mr. Schatzel?
See, I'm not sure what I'll just give them to you and decide after what our policies are with all this. I don't
You mean with Fitzgerald?
remember all the policies and gifts, maybe you can read that later on. We can just give it all to the administrator.
Oh, they were that
Take it from
expensive,
there.
gentlemen.
That's okay, we're always going to follow the rules, so we'll just give it to the administrator. Thank you.
Oh, okay, and one to the mayor. And we hope in the future you will not speak to the public the way you have been in the past. Thank you.
Have a seat, please. Anybody else? Jeff?
Jeff Sawyer, Colts Neck. I just have a quick letter that I'll give you a copy.
You don't want to get on camera for yourself?
Pardon me?
You don't want to get on your own camera?
They can hear me. Dear Mr. Mayor, at the April 30th, 2014 Township Committee meeting, Tom Orgo abstained or did not vote on resolution number 2014-61 concerning the roll-off containers of the annual Township Dump Day. Though I can't read lips, during the comment period, Tom Orgo appeared to not be in favor for whatever reason. So instead of voting no on the resolution, Mr. Orgo decided to not vote or abstain. Finding this somewhat odd, during the public comment period, I inquired why Tom Orgo could have simply voted no in lieu of abstaining. And you replied that committee members may not vote because a conflict of interest could exist, which is completely understandable. Upon reviewing the bidding documents accepted by the township and Tom Orgo's financial disclosure statements, I see no apparent conflict. Anyway, in this case, no specific reason was provided upon my inquiry, and that is water under the bridge now. The very next day, while thumbing through the April 30th, 2014 edition of the news transcript, I came across an article written by Jack Murtha entitled, quote, Colts Neck officials select firm to conduct appraisals, end of quote. In that article that speaks about resolution number 2014-54, it accurately reported that Committeeman Michael Fitzgerald abstained from taking action, end of quote. Jack Murtha further wrote that, quote, he, meaning Michael Fitzgerald, believes the program will boost the number of tax appeals in Colts Neck to new heights, end of quote. Given this documented concern, it is safe to determine that this was a reason for not voting or abstaining. So like the Orgo case above, why not simply vote no rather than abstaining? Based upon these two case in points, I decided to look further to see if abstaining is the new no vote. Excluding votes on approving meeting minutes and vouchers/bills, I examined the voting history of all committee members for the past year, which covers the period 4/23/13 through 4/9/14. During that period, I found that committee members abstained 15 times and only voted no 4 times. Upon reviewing each abstention vote, it appears to me a couple would be appropriate. For example, Schatzel and Engel abstaining from receiving LoSAP credit under the resolution number 2013-54. So given some exceptions, the historical trend depicts a committee that prefers to not vote or abstain than simply voting no. So based upon the two case in points and historical trend noted above, I rhetorically ask, why abstain? As a resident, all I can do is encourage and challenge each of my elected officials on the Township Committee to take a firm position on issues and vote no when each feels it is appropriate and avoid the greatest extent possible the easy middle road out of not voting or abstaining. Thank you. I'll give you a copy.
Any other comments from the public? Just state your name and address, please.
I just want to interrupt 1 second before you state your name and address. This is a new member of the public who's not aware that Mr. Slaughter videotapes, so you should understand that your address, and I only say that because during your comments you may want to refrain, for example, for saying that you're not going to be home at a certain time or whatever, because we don't know what he's doing with that videotape. So just be cautious.
I don't need an address, I just need the name.
Okay. Just your name.
Okay, they give me gas?
You're from Colts Neck resident, correct?
Yes. And do I have to tell you your address on that?
No, I
yeah.
don't know.
Oh, it becomes germane for comment, I believe.
Okay. My request was just to have the lawn next to me and across the street from me mowed. It's been 3.5 years since it's been cut, and I've tried to help her out, but my mower can't do it anymore, and it's not like just a regular house street where it's an acre or 2 acres. We're talking about 24 acres. You know, there's 12 to 13 acres next to me and 12 to 13 acres across the street from me. And there's wildlife coming out of there. There's deer, there's ticks. My dog just killed a baby fox coming out of there, and it's starting to get a little out of hand. It's been 3.5 years, and I talked to Rich about a year ago. My husband sent emails and stuff, and now he put the ball in my court, and now I'm showing up to try to get something done.
Okay. We'll get the specific location from you offline,
Okay.
and I'm glad you brought it to our attention. We'll definitely follow up on it.
Okay, and I also went to the Public Works, and they have no problem mowing it at all. But I know someone has to pay for it. And also, I know the taxes have been up for auction for these 2 properties. So, and people are paying it off. And the woman is the nicest woman in the world, and I don't wish ill upon her or anything. It's just that I don't think she has to pay for the mowing of the lawn. I think that becomes the bank's problem when the house properties get sold, if I'm correct. So if we
We'll
look
look
into
into
that too. Okay, thank you.
Will Bob get back to me?
Oh, yeah, we know.
Okay. Bob will get back.
Okay, thanks.
Virginia?
If this lady is a senior citizen, this could come out of the $40,000 that we give to the senior citizens. It would be a service to, other than trips, that we could provide our senior citizens. I read in the Asbury Park Press about the roundabout that's planned for Pine Road and Dutch Lane Road. I agree with Freeholder Curley that the people ought to have an opportunity to speak to that. And $1.5 million is very expensive. And our own Brook Crossan that you entrust the planning board to said that he was never consulted. That seems a little strange. And so I think we should use due process for this project since it's costing so much money. Mr. Crossman suggested that there might be other ways to control traffic at that intersection other than a rotary, which is going to require taking property from property owners. That's my point of view.
Just, Lynn, if you remember, this dates back to 2009, right?
I don't care when it goes back to. I'm just reflecting on the meeting that was.
The only thing I'm asking you is that you make sure that you have all the facts and not just the ones that you read in the newspaper, because
You
they're
don't
not.
have to be insulting.
I'm not attempting to be insulting. I just want to be fair to everybody, because there were counter points of view, and the whole history of what transpired with that particular issue was not reflected in the newspaper. So if you want to be fair, then be fair and set forth all the facts, not just one side of the picture.
Bring the people before this meeting again. I was out of time, I didn't have the opportunity to do it.
You understand it's a county project. Elaine, I'll give you 1 minute on that particular subject.
1 minute?
1 minute.
I called Mr. Tour.
Excuse me?
I called Mr. Tour the day after the meeting.
Right.
And I spoke to him, and my husband still had concern. And he's also worried now about the ladder truck. Mr. Wargo brought up concern.
I spoke to your husband.
All right, yes, he
I
told
spoke to
me that he spoke to you
By the way,
and what he said to you.
I would like to publicly congratulate you for getting Mr. O'Toole on the phone. Because to this date, the man has never returned my phone.
Well, he's very amicable. He would like
Still
to.
doesn't return my phone.
He said to me prior to the meeting, when my husband had the concern, that he would come to the township to talk to the interested parties. That didn't mean the public per se. That meant the concerned people that are running our emergency services and whatnot, okay? And I thought that was quite fair. He has now changed that to we would have to go down to meet with him. But still in all, they should have the opportunity to go down there and voice their concern. Because Daria clearly stated at the meeting, there might be minor changes that they could make to accommodate the concerns of certain fire trucks and first aid and what have you. So I thought that would be a fair way to deal with it.
If residents want to go speak to the county engineer, they'll feel that they're free to. It's a county project. If they're free to go speak with the county engineer. Any other comments? Yes.
Yeah, Fulton Wilcox. It was very clear at the meeting that the freeholders have been kind of counting on you and the governing board as kind of pulling on the oar on this project. You take the point of view that it's a county project, so therefore we really don't pay any attention to it. The freeholders were disappointed that you and others on the board, had essentially taken a hands-off position on this, and the fact that it was actually moving ahead as opposed to being a theory of 2009, never really was communicated by this board. And the freeholders said, they were disappointed that the public wasn't involved, meaning the Colts Neck public. So I think this really actually goes back to our conversation of the prior week, which is that the board kind of takes, pays attention to things it chooses to pay attention on the agenda, but doesn't take a wider view that is actually representing the town.
Sir, if you'd like, in the minutes that are posted, I'm not sure how far back our minutes go. This has been a 5-year discussion. You may have not attended the several meetings at the Township Committee where the engineers were here, there were diagrams, there was discussions. I've been, as everybody at this table has been involved with this project for 5 years. There's nothing new. This was the last part of it. So this is 5 years of it up to that date. So we all are around it. The mayor and I had a meeting with the county and our administrator maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. So I don't think we take our hands off on this. We know the project very well. We know the legal ends of it. We know the finances ends of it. We've seen the traffic studies. We've seen the trash studies.
We've heard resident testimony.
Committeeman Engel and I have responded to motor vehicle crashes at that intersection over the years. I'm not sure how much more intimate besides, staking out and putting a tent there. We're aware of it. It was approved. We went through maybe 4, 5, 8 different variations of the traffic, from stop signs to lights to the roundabout. And when we have people that have high degrees and decades of experience come and say, to make this the safest intersection we can, this is our recommendation, is to put a roundabout there. I have emails, everything's there for 5 years. So I can assure you that this has been looked at extensively, and especially with my background in safety, it was an easy decision to have the roundabout be the solution. And now we're finally at the place where it's going to be funded and it's going to be started. So I'm pretty excited about that.
And I don't want you to get the impression that I was taking a hands-off approach or the committee was taking a hands-off approach. My representation to the freeholder board, which is accurate, was that I was not a member of the governing body at the time that the presentations were made and the vote was taken. Nor was Committeeman Fitzgerald, nor was Committeeman Norville. Deputy Mayor, the Deputy Mayor was, and Committeeman Engelborn. They can speak firsthand as to what transpired in 2009. I cannot. I can tell you what's happened since that time. But I can't speak to what happened then. The only thing I can tell you, represent to you, is what I represented to them. The governing body of this township approved that particular design back in 2009.
And Mayor Green just add a little color too. It was made mention that the residents didn't have the opportunity, and that's a completely false statement. The residents, many residents came out to many meetings. In fact, there were field trips to the site with residents to look at the site and have a conversation. So I'm fairly confident that, and I think the Deputy Mayor and I can speak on behalf of the Deputy Mayor, that the residents at that time were given appropriate notice and got the opportunity to speak their voice.
I'm going to take it one step further, and I don't have any obligation to. I wasn't on the board at the time that it was voted on, but I will tell you that if it came before me now, or if I were on the committee at the time, I'd be voting in favor of it, because I sat through some of the testimonials from some of the people here, and I have a specific recollection of Michelle Warrendorf in the back corner coming to tears about either the school bus being hit or coming close to being hit at that intersection. And making it or couching it as if this has all come upon us at the last minute and we should invoke due process or some other vehicle to try to stop this train, it is both, let's call it disingenuous. Because all those hearings, all the testimonials from people, all the things that the engineers said from the county, and the effort that was made all predated the vote the township committee took. The township committee, your township committee, took a vote and voted in favor. If I'm not mistaken, 4-1 or 5-0, I forgot it was 3-2. Okay. Well, if it was voted on now, and I'm assuming the 2 members that voted on it at the time would vote the same way, I would be the third vote in favor of what ought to be there. Because I listened to what the engineers said. It's when I was running for office to be on this committee for the first time. And I know I sat through some of those hearings, but at the end of the day, it is an appropriate response. It's an appropriate solution to roads that were not designed for the speed of cars that come today. The reality is you have what I would call a funky intersection that, absent buying every piece of property around there and kicking people out of their homes, you can't realign and do the right way. So it's the next best thing is the roundabout. You may not like it at Brookdale. It's going to be similar to Brookdale. There were field trips. I can't imagine the 2 committee members sitting here today, or the 3 that were there at the time when they voted for it or against it, could have done anything else to include anybody else in the process. There was public notice. There was public participation. There were field trips. The engineers were here to sit here and armchair quarterback a decision that was made. A decision that was made by a vote 5 years ago. It was a process that was started probably 8 or 9 years ago, and maybe even longer than that. I'll use the word disingenuous. But I think that it's unfair, and the reality is good people making good decisions have moved forward with this in an appropriate manner.
Well, I would just respond that you just voted on 2014-14, which says you only got 3 years, and you need to restart a zoning thing simply because of the lapse of time. I think that's this is a case where you have something similar, which is 2009 is a long time ago, and at least the communications. I don't, you know, quarrel with Jim's points about the substance, but the restarting the communications is important because of the passage of time, and as an example, if the Colts Neck intersection were to be revived suddenly because money became available, you need to communicate and consider the fact that, you know, what was okay in 2009 for the people who were there in 2009 doesn't cut a lot of ice in 2014 or 2015. So this was really much more about restarting communications as opposed to restarting the project or restarting the engineering.
Well, that's not accurate. That's not even close to the truth. It took 4 years for them to condemn the property to get the job done. That's what happened in sort of 4 years. So it laid fallow. And what we're talking about, the Colts Neck intersection, we're talking about 537 and 34? That's what you're referring? Okay. So we're not clear. As we say here in 2014, that project is alive, it is moving forward, and that is the decision of the state and the county. So there's no confusion. Let's use this meeting as another citation 3 years hence, when the construction starts, anybody bringing up that this is somehow a reason to revive or revisit the construction of that intersection. That's not fair, and you know it.
Well, it's really, again, I think the reaction was, and I was not speaking of the reaction of the individual people there, I was talking about the reaction of the freeholders. They were essentially coming and you having their back, is what they wanted to in this thing. And
What led you to believe that?
Several of them said that. They were counting on this board helping communicate the fact that this was not a zombie project.
And you said, one of the freeholders said that?
Several of them.
That's perfect.
Like several.
Public notice.
Okay? So everybody knew at that meeting, right?
Excuse me.
Everybody knew. I got up and I communicated to everybody exactly what you heard me say, which is when we met with the freeholders here about a month ago, at the next public meeting, I announced that the project was going to proceed forward, and I advised the public publicly that the plans were available here.
The plans were in.
And how many people in this room came to look at them?
I did.
When?
And I didn't need to, because I was in before.
I came when my husband said that the project was going through.
So one person came to look. One person came to look at the plans.
Excuse me, you asked
Don't
me a
interrupt me.
question.
Okay, don't
You
interrupt
asked
me.
me a question.
I did not ask you a
You're
question.
interrupting me. There we go again.
Ma'am, you're out of order. Mr. Wilcox.
Yes.
Are you done?
Well, yes.
Okay. Mrs. Wilcox.
I think this whole thing is just a fact that it hasn't been brought up on a yearly basis to the public. And you have people that have come in and out of this town, bought houses, sold houses. They aren't even aware of what was going on. And it needed to be brought up. The communication was lacking. And I'm sorry, but I think you should have shown, if this was going to go forward, and you thought it was going forward, every year you should have had that plan set up at least once so that the public could see it in a public meeting.
Okay. Judy.
I just wanted to say, about the senior citizens were cleaning up Crying Road. And I requested that a police officer be on that road when we were there because the traffic was going at 50 miles an hour past that intersection. We didn't get police cooperation, and it took the seniors off the road. I just thought it was too dangerous of a road to have people on. And there were a number of accidents I know of in that corner.
Any other comments from the public this evening?
I will move.
Jeff, go ahead.
Just really quick, 5 seconds. Just to comment, Mr. Mayor, I don't have any problem going up before the camera. There was a podium up there a long time ago. I did comment when I was at the podium, so I don't have any problem going up before the podium. And 2, the reason for me taping this is, as what was indicated in my letter to Township Administrator Robert Bowden, is to grant the public, allow the public more access or other avenues to access to our government. That's all the reason, nothing more, nothing less. Thank you.
Jane, go ahead.
I'm a little afraid of about recording anything. In Homedale, the clerk puts the CD in. The camera is the old camera from the legal department. It plays the whole meeting. She takes it out at the end, puts it in an envelope, and mails it to the television station. There's no anxiety over there about being recorded. We don't have to give messages to the community or don't tell your address, don't tell your name. This is an open society. Now, speaking of open, I wish I'll ask a question. Was the roundabout ever put in the town newsletter and communicated to the town?
Don't know, we'll check, we'll get back to you. That was 5 or 6 years ago. I'll check on it myself and get back to you.
Another question. Is there a map, a PDF of a map that I can use?
Bob, you have
All
a,
I have is what's in my
you have a
office.
recollection of that newsletter being issued?
Vague recollection, we did a special newsletter just on that subject, announcing a public hearing. And the comment period was kept open by the county for some length. And my recollection, I'll stand myself to be corrected, that on at least 4 public meetings this was discussed. Some of the people that have spoken tonight are in those minutes, having spoke of the subject.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in
But
the
essentially,
newspaper.
a dozen people know,
It does.
and except for those that read the article in the Asbury Park.
How do you come up with a dozen?
Pardon me?
What do you mean a dozen people know?
The same dozen of us that come to every meeting.
Well, if it was in your newspaper, it would have been everybody that read your newspaper.
If you sent it to me, I would put it in my newspaper.
And I'm sure in your archives, you'd have that edition, we'd go back and look at it, right?
I've published for 41 years.
I
I've
know.
had 41 years of records.
Hey, Virginia, if I might address just so we know that there's no fear of cameras, let me tell you what my concern is about cameras. My concern about cameras is simply, we speak here very freely. And I will tell you specifically that I told the mayor, and I'm not uncomfortable saying it on camera now, at the last meeting that I might not make this meeting because I was out of the country and my plane was coming back today. And I didn't want to have public information and a public disclosure of the fact that I would be out of the country for 10 days when my address is readily available on financial disclosures that I make as a result of sitting on this committee. So with all due respect, you need to understand, my sole and exclusive concern was for these residents as it was for me. I don't want their house broken into with public information. Fair enough?
It's, that's a little specialist, I think is the word.
Really? Were you around for the 2 cars I had tonight?
My response would be, then you should guard what you say. But I will tell you that
That was my point.
Middletown
Thank you.
also records all their meetings. And so this anxiety is an exchange.
And just so you understand, I'm a trial attorney. Every time I walk in a courtroom, I'm on camera. If you'd like to go look at those, feel free. I'm not afraid of the camera. I have no problem with Mr. Sauter recording our meetings. If he so chooses, if that's the way he wants to spend his time, that's up to him. If you want to come in with a camera and record, you go ahead and do it. Personally, I think Committee Member Fitzgerald's point is well taken. I think ultimately the filming of these meetings has a chilling effect on the public, and I think it has the opposite effect of what you hoped it would have, because people are going to be more reluctant to speak rather than more forthcoming. That's my opinion. But as a matter of law, you're free to take the meetings.
And I echo that comment. I think it's
Elaine, last.
taken a direct step.
One last comment on this subject. You gentlemen voted on a fire truck, and you all agreed we had a new term of office, and all of a sudden we changed our plans. Same thing applies here. Same thing applies here, gentlemen.
Any other comments from the public? Okay, Mr. Wilcox, that's it.
Okay, the fact that it was 2009, and the fact that we are very much a bedroom community, and yes, as you said at the meeting, there are only a few that show up every meeting. That doesn't mean that they don't care, or that they don't want to know.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we need to do a little bit better on communication
And what,
between the residents.
are you going to chair that committee?
Beg
Are
pardon?
you going to chair the communication committee? I do propose that this committee do a better job of communicating. We have representatives of our local media that fortunately come to all of our meetings. Mrs. Aman's here, Mr. Murtha's here, Mr. Seng's here. Those are our 3 main outlets, in addition to our website, for letting the public know what's going on. Okay? I can't help that somebody doesn't read the calendar. I can't help that somebody doesn't read the journal. I can't help that somebody doesn't read the transcript. And I can't help that somebody doesn't go onto a website and avail themselves of the information. You cannot force people to avail themselves of information, right? If there's another way of doing it that does not cost this township money, I'd be happy to hear it. But I think I've heard them all at this point. We've heard newsletters. Every newsletter that goes out costs $1,600. Every one. Okay? It's cost prohibitive. Reverse 911s, we like to say for emergency situations, they cost money as well. We've considered alternative means of communicating. And then, of course, the decision has to be made as to what is, quote-unquote, important enough to warrant an extra level of communication. What falls into that category? And who's going to make that decision? And then how is it going to be done? If you have a suggestion, I'd be happy to talk to you offline about it. I've heard the complaint on a number of occasions. We vetted it. We try to think of other ways to communicate. But the best means of communication we have are the 3 people, 2 gentlemen and the 1 lady you have sitting back there, because by and large, most folks in the town will read one of those publications if they don't go on the township website. Now, if you can't make people read the stuff, then the only other way is really word of mouth. And hopefully word of mouth gets around. There are email chains. People, when they get passionate about the subject, they get in email chains, and trust me, with the deer issue, people knew. Why? Because somebody got upset about it, they sent out an email chain, and then all of a sudden a lot of people knew about it. But to say that people didn't know about this roundabout just because it wasn't actively in the public discussion for a few years, as Committeeman Fitzgerald said, it's a bit disingenuous. Just because you don't avail yourself with the information doesn't mean it's not there. Okay, that'll be it for the public comment for tonight. Resolution 2014-70, the executive session. We're not expecting to come back to the public session this evening. Take a motion on that, please.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? So carried.
Thank you all for coming out tonight.